The world won't understand you. Hey, but it's okay. Said the world won't understand you, 'cause I made you in my own way. Said the world won't understand you, 'cause I made you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 124 of In a Good Way podcast. Today's special guest is Brett Ressler. Brett Ressler is the co-founder of the Cosmic Awakening community and Usui Reiki master, who specializes in leading individuals and groups through energy alignment and balancing practices. After having a near-death experience in 2020, he started to channel an Atlantean energy worker named Evea, who showed up at this time to assist humanity. Now working in tandem, assisting others in energy practices, utilizing techniques, methods, and training remembered from a submerged past, the seeds of Atlantis are here to help. So thank you so much, Brett, for being here again. For those that don't know, this is Brett's second time on here. He was one of my first lives that I did, so it's an honor to have you here once again.
It's an honor to be here, Omar. Thank you so much for having me on again. It's just great to catch up again. We don't get to chat much in one-on-one, so it's good to see you.
No, absolutely. Likewise. And last time, I don't think I got to ask you so much about, we focused more on your story. Like I hadn't heard about your NDE before and things like that. I think we did touch briefly on the Cosmic Awakening community. So today I wanted to focus on that. It's a great community. That's obviously where I met you through. When I first was invited over there, it was with Patrice, who was one of the co-founders with you, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So if you want to tell us a little bit about, I know there's so many different kind of classes, right? You have like someone that teaches yoga, there's readings, there's different things. So I want you to go ahead and tell us, well, if you can, real quick, tell us like just, a brief recap of why you started the community, how it came about, and then if you want to go into like the different classes that you have over there.
Sure. It came about meeting a few different people online that were practicing a couple different modalities, like Patrice and Federica. Patrice is a medical intuitive, and we all sort of saw where it was really nice just to get together, where before we would just type online, right? It would just be messages and upon, there's, but you wouldn't put like, when you started a meeting on Zoom, it put energy into it. And then more people, wanted to join. So we thought, hey, let's just start like a community around this and call it something. We just sort of gave it a form on a website,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and then it's sort of evolved into helping other people go through similar experiences of what I call spiritual awakening. And what spiritual awakening is to me is sort of awakening up to your higher self. It's sort of becoming who you are, who you were supposed to be. And it's good to have a place where I can just share things with people that are under the same path, where they're seeing that there's more underlying this whole world, that there is an energetic structure to it, and whether you name it a certain deity or not, there is a structure. There is a structure to the universe, and I think at this time, in our evolution of where we are in the universe, this perception is growing stronger in everyone, whether they're admitting it or not. And so Cosmic is just sort of a place where we can join together, like in a group setting on Zoom, where you can come and bring your questions. No, it's not out in the public to display most of the time. We don't put too much up on YouTube just because it's more of a sensitive subject sometimes. And then when we come together on Zoom, it creates an energy dynamic where recorded video, you get meditations, and you can connect to some really strong energy. But it's when you get together where you can actually change the scenario, like immediately. Like if you spoke up, that would change the dynamic of the whole conversation, right? And it's the same thing with energy. You can see, you can compensate. So like an analogy of a boat. So it's like you're actually on the boat where you can actually compensate for the energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of just watching it and seeing the boat tip, you can actually stay vertical on the ship.
Mm.
But so, and along with that, as we had more people come together and join on the Zoom, a lot of other people who wanted to share different gifts. So we've had people that want to do readings for other people. We have all kinds of services on Cosmic Awakening. It's really beautiful. So if anyone's wanting to explore the nature of their spiritual awakening, there's someone who's typically has seen an avenue that they've sort of researched on that area. Someone's gone down that path and seen those ideas, so they can help share those like in the group.
So I know you also even have, it's like a 24/7 thing, because you even have the like a group chat on Telegram, and I've seen that, where if anyone's having any kind of spiritual situation that they almost feel like, because sometimes it does, right? With the spiritual walk, it almost feels like an emergency. And obviously you can't go to the doctor, right? Like it's like a 911, or sort of like having the community right there to be that's your 911. Like, hey, I'm going through this. Like, what do I do? Kind of thing. So that's a beautiful thing to have that supportive community. But I don't know if I cut you off, or if you were gonna say something else to what you were saying. So
That's
go ahead.
that's that's perfect, Omar. A spiritual awakening hotline.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Help! I'm seeing I'm seeing the God in myself. Help!
Yeah, or like something else, something that's just
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So um I made a video recently about, luckily I already had a few people that I could talk to, but I remember one day, I talked about it in some video I made recently, where there was like a super moon, and I guess there were a few planets that were aligned or something, and I was out in public. And on that day, a friend was going through something. So I went to be a supportive friend. And as we're sitting, he wanted to go get drinks. He knew I didn't drink, but he's like, I'll treat you to food if you just come, like, listen to me, vent my problems. I was like, all right, let me go be a good friend, right? And as we're sitting at this bar, all of a sudden, it's like if I could hear everyone's thoughts in the whole bar, like 20, 30. I'm hearing all these voices in my head. And I freeze up like a deer in the headlights, and I get my phone, and as he's just like, ooh, talking, I like blur that out, and I'm just like, hey, I text a friend that lives like in Texas, and I'm like, can you pray for me? I got no idea what in the hell I'm going through. I text another friend in Colorado. I'm like, can you pray for me? I don't know what's going on with me. But I'm like about to lose it, because, you're hearing like 30 voices in your head, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? And my friend in Colorado goes, oh, wait, hold on. And they're like, they send me this thing. Oh, this day, if you're an empath or this, or you're sensitive, be away from people or be out in nature. This is a very, like, you're going to get like, boom. And so I was like, it instantly calmed me down, because I knew I wasn't crazy in that moment, right? It was like, okay, I'm not going nuts. I don't need to rush to, the insane asylum or nothing. This is like some kind of, spiritual activation thing going on this day, or just I'm super tuned in with the super moon and these planets. And boom, that was it. Once we left the place, I felt better. So that's why I feel it's so important now. I didn't really have that. Luckily, like I said, I had a few people here and there, years ago. But it's beautiful to have that. So that's why, I wanted to make sure to say that I noticed that the Cosmic Awakening community not only has the online things, but also, even outside, it's like 24/7. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's many people that aren't officially part of Cosmic Awakening, but they're spiritually awakened. That's what the whole community is. So it's people that are amazing. They have amazing gifts that they want to share with the world, and they, you know, they can do it. There's a spot for them. It's amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what are some of the classes? I know that like I keep hearing this echo, but it's fine. It just happens when I talk for the first time. So I don't know if there's something wrong with the mic or what, but
It might be when it switches over between my audio and your audio, maybe
oh,
possibly.
okay. I mean, I don't know why but it's fine. I guess it's only in the beginning. So if anyone, because it almost sounds like that, like like a spirit kind of thing, like, or how when people use the voice box, and so I don't want people to get freaked out, like, oh, their interview was possessed or something, so that's why I just want to throw that out there. But yeah, no, if you want to talk about some of the classes, like I know like there was a yoga class and different things like that, right? So
Yes. So we have Tori. Tori does yoga and sound, and it's amazing. So the whole thing with spiritual awakening is connecting the spirit to your body, and realizing that there's no separating. You're in this physical body, right? So a lot of times alleviation of spiritual symptoms and energy symptoms comes with doing yoga, doing sound, um, to move the body. The body is communicating with you at all times. So I mean, if you feel pain in one area, that is your body communicating with you, hands
mm,
down. Everyone can agree with that. But there's points where you can help tune in to it if you're focusing on it. So if you can move your body and find specific areas in your own body, it's the best way to do it, in my opinion, instead of having someone else manipulate your body. It's you figuring yourself out, like your patterns. So it's been really amazing.
mm,
Um, and and the sound healing, sound is, you know it's something that penetrates the body. There is vibration in it. There's, it it goes to those different areas in the body. That's why, there is so many different frequencies and tools, because not everyone's going to pick up on doesn't need that same frequency. Someone might need something just a tiny bit different. So that's why there's such a plethora of sounds. Um, can never get away from the perfect ohm, though.
oh yeah, absolutely. The other day I was I went for like a mountain bike ride. I ended up by this lake. It was like the most perfect sunset, right? The sun, and it was reflecting off the lake and this and that. But there was a group of people right there singing live, and it didn't come out good on the phone recording, but that music just penetrated to my core. It was such healing. They were playing live, like all the, like, it was like, I guess, Hindu music. It sounded like,
Hmm.
because you know the that's I think I think they had like sitars, and but the drums, even, they were like boom, like those, but it
Yes,
was
they have that
so,
little echo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was like I would, yeah, and it was going through the sky. So I don't know why it didn't. It's fine. I guess it didn't come out good on the phone, but. And I asked them, I was like, is it okay? And then, they didn't stop. They just looked at me. They were like, yeah, no problem. No, I just wanted, like, because it sounded so amazing. But yeah, that music, it was something else, right? It's not like what we listen or what people go pay to concerts to watch, but that's like the kind of concert I would want to go to, because that music, you could tell it was so healing. And the fact they
Yeah.
were doing it with the sun setting, I was like, oh, this is so spiritual. Like, man, like, this is the kind of thing that I would actually want to go see like in a concert. But yeah, it was amazing. Just the frequencies and everything. Whatever they were doing, obviously, it was a super um spiritual experience, and that's it felt very ritualistic, right? It was
Mm.
amazing. So yeah. Oh, but
Yeah,
go ahead, go
and
ahead.
that's perfect. And that's sort of what, we're trying to emulate at Cosmic. I know it's on Zoom, but we want to create an environment where when you go there, your mind automatically gets into a ritualistic thing where it goes into a centered state where when you are dedicating time to something, it's going to persevere. So if you're dedicating time to, so a lot of people have spiritual awakening, but a lot of people go take spiritual naps. They go back to sleep. They don't, they see it as a mountain to climb, and and where they don't realize that they just need to take that one step. They're going to take a step regardless, and they might as well go up, right?
Mm,
It's just maintaining that discipline and that focus on what they want, and that's part of it. That's part of why we sort of hold each other accountable, showing up and um, centering ourselves. When we come together as a group, you can accomplish so much more when you're all in the same state, centered state, and you're striving for the same
goal.
goal, same same vibration,
Mm,
same sound, same movement, same structure. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So that's you said Tori, correct?
Mhm.
Tori. So with the and how often does she do those? Is it a weekly thing where they have the yoga with the sound? It's like sound healing basically, right?
Yes, yes. So we have she does a session. She has a session 3 times a month.
Oh, okay.
Tori does different sessions. Yeah, um, and that's sort of and the yoga sessions are a blended session. There's always sound at the end, and so it's they're beautiful sessions.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and then Brooke's been doing meditations. And then we have a community based volunteer session coming up too, where the community members can share their gifts on a community member run session. So you can share your gifts with the group on that also.
And is that gonna be because I know you had one coming up August 20th, right? Oh wait, no, no,
Uh,
today is August or oh, it already
yes,
passed
today
August
is August.
20th now.
Yes, on the 25th.
On
Yes,
the
we
20th,
have
okay.
Connect to Your Inner Child.
Oh,
Connect to Your Inner Child. Yes, and that that is that is a few different people. I'll provide the link for that for you.
okay.
Um, and that'll be an adventure in itself. Oh my gosh! So it'll be multiple energy workers working on while everyone's led through this guided journey, connecting to your inner child. Um, and whether connecting to your inner child is you healing your inner child, because we could have called it a healing your inner child session, but that might not happen for everyone. This is a session to connect to your inner child. So that whatever that means for you, it's connecting to your higher self when it boils down to it. It's connecting to your heart center. It's finding out it's another avenue of finding out the design of your life, giving you structure. So,
Absolutely. It's funny that why did you and that's just this. So are you gonna be doing something similar like monthly or this is just you all decided that this month you're doing the inner child? Is there gonna be another theme next month and so on and so forth or?
Yes, pretty much each month we try to have a special guest on with a um, different types of session. My Reiki session is one of the main sessions that happens every week.
Okay.
Um, but we try to have all kinds of different sessions, see what everyone likes, um, and we'll typically hear about it in the chat and
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So you have the yoga session, a meditation session, the Reiki session that you do weekly as well. Is the meditation session weekly as well, or?
Um, so it's we're sort of restructuring it now. We're actually going to be adding a bunch more. The Brooks meditation she usually does it a couple of times a month now, and then my meditations I do almost every Tuesday um, and Sunday. But the schedule is always subject to change, and it's going to be we'll probably be adding some more sessions too, and different variances of sessions. So.
Hmm, absolutely. No, that's beautiful. You know, like when I went there, I had well, obviously it doesn't sound like you have that class right now, but when I first went, there was an opening to practice like the psychic gifts. Or do you still do something similar like that, or not? Not
There's
currently.
no specific session marked as that.
Okay.
But if anyone ever, every session, so my Reiki sessions especially, so when we get together in a group dynamic like that, um, basically we build Reiki energy. So if you have a gift of, you know, telepathy, right? Then in that session, you can decide to practice that. And
Mm,
with the energy of the group, it sort of energizes everybody. It's just, it works on like a basic, a basic, if there's more batteries, you can have availability of more power because you're working together. And it's all about creating a space where everyone is trying to do it from a heart-centered space. And that's the key. Um, if people have like ill intentions when they come in, that then it doesn't really work for them. Like, and then it sort of throws off the power of the group at that time. Most of the time, that'll work itself out because of vibrations, of frequencies of people, and what they want to do with their heart,
mm.
what they want to strive for in their life, and it works really easy because if I want to be a good person, every minute of the day, I send out a certain vibration that's steady, right? And and then the people that come into Cosmic and stay in Cosmic, as long as the people that come into Cosmic and that vibration maintains, then the group will be perfect. It'll be the people that it's who it's supposed to be. So it's a very beautiful thing. Um, it sort of creates its own vortex, I would say, because it's like you're only letting in things that match your vibration, which enhances the overall expansion of the whole group's energy. It creates it creates like a shell. A shell might have a little bit of flaws, but it always stays to the same pattern, building upon itself in the same form and pattern. Typically, right? You see a shell, it keeps turning and turning, and it looks the same, but just slightly bigger, slightly bigger. And as long as a shell can maintain its energy because it stays in that coating. It doesn't stray from that. So
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful point. And it makes sense because even that, right? Like I said, when I was first invited over there, I didn't really know what to expect, but it was the first time I guess I was asked if I wanted to try out like doing the, psychic kind of stuff or whatever. And I guess because the space was so welcoming, And I went ahead and did it. And then, I was like, oh, wow, no one really ever asked me. And it was the whole group. I really felt like that was the most important part of it, right? It was like the whole group providing that space. And then after being able to, because, at that time, it was like, I guess Patrice was running those sessions, and it looked like, everyone wanted to hear what Patrice had to say, but Patrice opened it up like, hey, did any of you see anything, or did any, and sometimes he would ask, hey, Omar, did you see something? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I did. So it provided that space. And so that's what, like, had it not been for that community setting, I don't know, it was something new that I had never really explored. Right. So I think that's why communities are so important when that
Sure.
space is provided. Like, like I said, like, it could have been a space where someone's just like, yeah, I don't, I'm running this session. I don't really care what you have to say. And then that's it, right? But it was like open to like, well, what happen? Like, you have any feedback? You have any input to put into this conversation? So that's how it went. So it was very beautiful experience. So yeah.
Yes. And then on any of the sessions too, if people are free to share. So on our meditations, a lot of times my meditations will be more silent because we'll have times where it's just connect to your guides, connect to your source, and get the messages that you need to hear, and we're just providing the energy. So it's like sharing your gifts with yourself. It's like you're in the perfect environment. It's sort of like what the pyramids do. It's places where, again, vortex of energies.
No, absolutely.
Um, yeah.
Absolutely. You know, well, I guess so. I don't veer off. But I'm gonna come back to that right now. But so, how can someone, if you want to share with anyone watching, how they can find the Cosmic Awakening community and become a part of it?
Well, it's at cosmicawakening.org, and I will send you a link to put in the show notes. And basically, we look up that everything's on there. Um, there is a free trial for the 14-day subscription. So, and the coupon code is free trial with no spaces. So it's easy enough. And that just gives you access to the calendar, and you can see all the different sessions. September is about ready to come out.
Mm.
Um, so, and there's always ones popping up too. So, especially, when we leave it where people can, have, can do help and add sessions, then, you know, there's, it's always when other people are willing to help. So,
Absolutely. Um, so I wanted to. Okay, so that didn't fix my problem. Never mind. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about because like I read in your bio, when you had your ND, you started channeling Ivea. So have you still been able to connect with Ivea or?
yes. And so with that, that is more of what I would call a sort of a walk-in experience
Mm,
where there's been more soul integration, where our energies have been able to coalesce, basically. I call it forming the Vesica Pisces. I don't know. Are you familiar with that?
yes.
Yeah, I know you are. Okay.
No, no.
Um,
I mean, it's not. No, yeah, but go ahead, go ahead. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So it's basically where, again, it's joining together of energies throughout time and space. So now it's creating points in time that adds to the geometry of this universe by connecting to geometric points here that are in different time periods. it activates different parts of the mind, I would say, and the body, um, especially with like the crystalline network in our bodies, in our cells. Um, it it's sort of like, say, you know how what percentage of your brain is active at any given time? They say it's like a really low amount,
Yeah.
and it sort of correlates to different, as we're in different parts of time. It's sort of like the Earth is far, a different spot in the universe, in our towards the sun. It's in a different area. So there's different pressures which correlate to activating different parts of our DNA and our brains and our chemical structures within our body. Just like, the tides. We see, the nature shows us examples of this, how different energy bodies and where we are positioned affects our physical bodies and our energy bodies. And our it goes back to, again, we feel these changes in geological patterns. We feel it in the rain. Like people feel rain in their body. It's the same thing. It's connecting to an energetic universe through your body. It's just, there is a point though where you can take away pain and move and register the message that that pain's trying to give you, and then correlate it to psychic energy.
Mm.
So, um, but that's getting off topic.
No,
Or
no,
not. I don't know.
no, it's not. Yeah, no. I mean, I was following along, so
Sure, sure.
it's all good. Um, yeah, no, no. I guess. Well, let me ask you this: Do you think? So, do you think that Ivea is more of a walk-in from a separate energy, or do you feel that's actually you in another reality or an advanced reality, and it really just is another reflection of you. It's another you, and it's coming in to share, to speak to this you and this reality. And maybe I don't know, did that ever, or you don't feel that, you do feel it's a separate entity?
Oh, definitely, definitely not. I definitely feel it's part of me that's
Oh, okay.
been activated. Um, it's because of my NDE, the stroke. I feel that created different pressures in my brain. There are different pathways that opened up, and that's where I feel that that whole process. I don't know if you can say it was initiated or if that's just me realizing it. Again, the physical symptoms showed up in the form of the stroke. The physical symptoms showed up in me not being able to feel half my body, type of thing. It's an awareness I could not deny. It's sort of like when you hear those times in the Bible, like with Saul turning into Paul. You have to wonder, was that just his physical body doing that to him? Did he just have a stroke where it's reported, people see bright lights and stuff? That might just be their physical body talking. So in my view, there is nothing outside of your own energy field. You are your own universe. So in that, if someone sees a bright light above them, it is only the God inside of them that is speaking, because it is in your energy field. And that's why I can relax when I see Vea now in my mindscape. I can relax because it's just me. And I still have a decision, you know, of what to speak and what to emit from my heart center. And it's still, and I know it's good. I know it's love. So I just continue on my way. Um, but with that, relaxing my mind and my heart, and sort of leaning into, hey, you have a separate consciousness that's awakening. What do you do? Well, I sort of relaxed with it, and it's brought in a lot of insights to energy work. Um, like even when I watch anybody now, like on Instagram or YouTube videos, I have like it's like almost an immediate awareness of what they're talking about. Like, of course I know what that is. You know, it's like, it's just been a really amazing because thoughts and ideas are just stored. So when you see something that really resonates with you, it really sparks up now.
Absolutely. No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think you answered the question. So you do feel it's basically you in a right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. No,
And
go ahead.
this is something that everyone can do, and not everyone necessarily can read that it's a different consciousness. But there's most people have times in their life where they feel like they were a different person, and and part of that is at those times they do call in different parts of themselves, and and with me it's just I've seen more of the form of the structure. So I've had experiences now where I've done past life regression. Maria's actually on our website. She does past life regressions.
Mm.
I'm also a surrogate for her. So if a person can't drop into a meditative state, she'll lead me in for them. Um, and with that, I've seen past life of where I was like the finder of the geolocator of the pyramids, and I saw like where my feet where they were standing. You know, and it's just been some amazing things, and then how to connect with that further. It's just sort of where you put your meditative attention then. So if you want to explore areas of past life further, there's ways to do that um, by connecting to different parts of that life. And most of the time, the easiest way is connecting all the senses to something that you recognize when that vision of that life came to you. Sort of trying to repeat like a smell, um, a taste, a touch. And a lot of those times, those ideas will come to you from that energy inside you. And that's sort of like it leads to another awareness time where people might realize that they become a different person. Like when your taste change, sometimes that happens to a lot of people, taste change. And a lot of times, yes, it happens in young adulthood to adulthood, but it happens at other times also. So um, that's just another way of your body indicating that you have messages, you know, that
Yeah,
something is happening. It's all learning how to tune into yourself.
absolutely. Yeah, like I like to ask. Oh, whoa. I don't know. My sound's really messed up for some reason. Maybe I'm just too close to the mic or something. Um, okay, that seems to be a little better. So maybe I'm just too close. You can hear me good, right?
I can.
Okay, so I'll just stay away from the mic. I think that's what maybe is happening here. But I asked because I never like to project my idea on someone else, right? So I like to ask because for me, I have so many experiences and I feel very confident in what's going on, but I always want to know what other people feel about their experiences.
Mhm.
Because for example, I've seen a lot of things, but then again, I have been made aware. For example, one of the first times when, I had a dream, and I went to work and there was this guy I didn't know that good. And for some odd reason, I just started sharing with him, man, I had the craziest dream. And I just give him this whole speech and all the details. And, and then after I finish, he looks at me and he's all, man, you just said word for word what happened to me like 3 years ago. So then it was like, wait a second, like, why, how did I see this person's path? Like, so I was looking at it like it was happening to me, but I saw it like, so I thought it was me, but obviously I was seeing his reality, a playback of something that had happened from 3 years ago. So sometimes that's why, because I've had so many things where I see it like it's happening to me, and I figure, oh, this is a past life. So I've seen like so many past lives, and I'm like, okay, this is a past life. But then there's always that thing, but what if? Because now I know I've experienced these other things where I'm seeing it through someone else's eyes. So I'm like, wow, is it my past life, or are they, for some reason there's even ancient people that are actually known from ancient, like how you said you were one
Mm.
of the ones that the geolocator from the, what does that mean exactly? The geolocator from the, like the pyramid.
Um, well, the energy centers of the Earth. So
Oh, okay.
so it's like, where's the best spot to start digging, right?
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So exactly like that. You saw it more like it was happening to you, or you were seeing it through someone else's eyes at that moment.
The one I saw in for Atlantis specifically, I saw feet, because on that journey, um, I immediately connected with that and I brought to his home world and then shown like where he lived and then where he landed on the earth. Like it was his job to find these positions. And yeah.
No, that's amazing. I love that.
So it was an Arcturian. It was,
Mm,
and I thought it was a gray at first, but it was an Arcturian.
mm.
Just because I only saw the feet, I never really, I didn't really, you know, I never really looked at feet before.
Ah,
I've
but
never seen that either. Most people draw beans and the head up. I don't know what. Yeah.
you knew that that's the being. See, that's amazing. And I think that's what happens, right? We have that knowing once once you become more aware, you just know, right? Like the first time I met, like, Palladians, right? Like I had never heard of them. I wasn't part of none of that, none of that. And I instantly knew who they were when I came to, and I got all the proof that this wasn't just some dream. It was like an actual experience, like, that it really happened. And so, I felt very connected to them. And it was like that. That was just like one of the first big experiences that, it's like you just know, right? So that's
Mm.
amazing that by looking at feet, you knew it was in Octurian. That's how you say it, Octurian.
Arcturian. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Wow, that's amazing. I really like that. That's an amazing experience to have, to see that, you came to this, you know. So go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah. And then I would say that those are the ones that I know more are mine just because those were my individual sessions. But it happens on Cosmic Awakening where I many times I think it's people's guides or their past lives that come in and show me all kinds of stuff. And at first, when I started Cosmic Awakening, I would see these and I'd be like, why am I having all these past life experiences in these sessions? And then I'm realizing it's just these people's higher self is just coming in to chat. And
Mm.
so, and they'll come in like a day before or 2 days before too. And I'll be like, all of a sudden now, you know, it'll hit me like during the session, like, oh, that's for them. That's why I've been seeing, like I've seen like different colors will come in and they'll be connected to different beings. And it'll be really strange because I do Reiki's. I don't know. It's not really similar to anything I really see many people doing. A lot of people do it though. similar. Um, Shapes will come up in my view spectrum, and those are sort of like representation, a macro representation of cells within their body, and it'll speak up. So a lot of times I think it's actually parts of their body connected to these guides, and it'll speak up to me, and it'll come at first in a color. So I'll start looking around. I'm like, why am I seeing green all day? Green will be showing up, and then start to form. Like it'll be like a green triangle, and then it'll be like, it'll be a whole green bean.
Hmm.
So, and then it'll be talking to me, and during the Reiki session, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's funny that you say that. Okay, let's see. There. So it's funny that just when I talk, it goes all crazy, and then it's good. So it's funny that you say that because that happens to me on the podcast. Like a lot of times before I interview someone, I'll start seeing, and it's almost like that. Like it feels like that's a higher version of themselves, right? Like the higher self or whatever. And I'll see them, and then once I'm interviewing them, I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense. So that's amazing that I don't think I had shared that with somebody, but that's amazing that you have that experience as well when
Mm-hmm.
before like the sessions as well. So that's pretty cool. That's
Which has led me to I'm not I cannot say I'm a telepathy expert, but it's really brought in like awareness of like how that works. Like when I start relaxing when those things happen, when I start getting these I call them premonitions, right? They're premonitions, really. It's reading the signs. But we see, I think, back in the day, people used to just use a lot of animals. Now we have so much more technology available to us to start reading premonitions. We can really move energy if we're connected. That's the hard part. So we have all these technologies, and we can't just watch any old show and get these messages. So we have to still, because those other energies will draw away from the messages. So we still have to create a space to develop these things. But I think there's going to be a lot of advancement in that coming up here, for sure.
in what way do you feel?
Oh, that's a premonition.
Oh, okay.
in what way do I feel? So that's the only way I can share with you, is just because I've had experiences with different people on Cosmic Awakening, like as far as messages go, um, and that, I mean, that is sort of what anyone does when they do like a reading, even with like cards. It's an energy transfer. It's just a distinction in what you call it. So most people call it telepathy would be a thought transfer, a direct thought, like I am here, or red or blue. You want to directly transfer a certain structure of knowledge. And so now when I have these energy perceptions, and I'm starting to look into telepathy, I'm seeing now in my energy view how these connections are made, like where in the body, like what systems are helping with this, like like your emotional structure. If we rely on just the brain sometimes can't do it alone. There's too many thoughts there. So the telepathy needs to be filtered through different systems of the body. And that's just sort of, different information that I've been picking up, like while, in meditation. I try to do a lot where I'm connected, heart-centered meditation, especially with Cosmic. A lot of ideas show up, and I think that has to do with the seeing guides too. Their ideas show up for these people.
Mm.
I've done like, and then I sort of try and share that with people too. Like I've tried to share like transfer of water is using 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 this telepathy energy transfer format to communicate with water and transfer messages through water and healing codes. Um, that's been a fun one I've shared with a few different people to see if they want to try and see where that leads. Um, I'm trying to think what other ones. But it's been fun. There's, it's hard to, I never want to say, oh, you should do this, right? But I always love when these ideas come up, and I casually share them with people, and they can do what they want with them, type of thing. So it's been really.
Absolutely. So you think going forward, what that more people are gonna be open to this, or like in that way, you think that like when you say like that you feel
Hmm.
like going
Well,
forward?
well, the big thing is we're all awakening spiritually more and more. So this is going to become ever present where people can't deny it. So so most people will feel they might get the messages all the time. They might see color green. Oh my gosh, I green every time I walk around this person, but it's not. They don't register it because they're not patterned to look for it. Um, and sort of, I know this is going to happen with the if the AI chip is introduced to the brain. I'm sure that chip will find these different networks that can explore those options, but that's sort of dangerous because it won't come from a heart-centered energy source. So it might sort of get a little skewed there. But what that might do is bring awareness to people that that is a real thing.
Oh,
So it's just like the first person that ran the 4 minute mile. Now a bunch of people believe it and did it.
mm,
So so now when a guy puts a chip in his brain and people are like, oh my gosh, he did that, and all the chip did was make this connection to this connection. Can I do that by meditating and sitting there? Yes, you can. That's the whole point. You can change the structure of yourself. Um, but of course, we as humans try to find the easy way out always, right? The shortcuts.
absolutely. Because see, since I've already see, I've never felt that, or I did something that someone else can't do. So since I know I've been able to, it's like that. Like when I felt a whole day feeling this sadness, right? And finally, I text someone, "Hey, are you sad?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, like, something like, family members in the hospital, like life and death kind of thing." And I'm like, how was I able, someone that lives hours away, how am I able to connect to their energy and know? Or I call someone and they're like, "Oh, I was thinking of calling you." And I'm like, "I know, that's why I called you." And it's like, you just, like, how are we already all connected? See, so that's why that's amazing. Like I love that perception of it about the chip. Like I'm completely not for it because I mean, to be honest, because yeah, I feel we already can do it. But yeah, like you said, humans are gonna look for, and that's how it's packaged, right? Oh, don't you want to be able to do this? Don't you want to be able? Obviously, there is those exceptions, and that's what they're gonna put. Like, oh, what about the person that's paralyzed and can't walk, and now we
For
can
sure.
connect that. So obviously, yeah, I couldn't argue with that because who's gonna tell the person that can't walk and now they put this chip in and now all of a sudden it connects in that way, then yeah, of course you wouldn't want to not let that person have that, right? So, but as far as
Right.
that, like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. Yeah. So, you know, I agree totally, 100%. If that chip can help someone walk, I'm all for it. And hopefully and that's the way telepathy is introduced that way to the universe. Is a guy got healed for walking, and he also developed the ability to read minds and talk to people, right?
Yeah.
It'd be a great story.
No, yeah, but that made 100% sense. I hadn't thought about that yet. That that perspective, that maybe once people connect, then someone else might think, wow, they did it with the chip, then we must be able to do it without the chip. So I guess if that's what it takes, for me, obviously, I'm someone that would never do it, like that kind of thing. Of course, yeah, I get the whole like that, like, oh, I can't move this body part or this and that, and so obviously that's gonna be something different. But yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely, I like that perspective. So we'll see where it goes. Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time unless there's anything else that you wanted to share before we go. So I don't want to
No,
hold
we're
you
at a
back from that.
good, we're at a good amount of time.
Okay. No, thank you so much. So I'll put the links to everything, everything related to the Cosmic Awakening community, and any other links you want me to share as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I definitely want to do this again so we could, do another update and share a little more about what's going on in the Cosmic Awakening community. Like I said, I've experienced it, and it's, it's a beautiful, supportive community, and like that, even having the spiritual 911 kind of bat line or whatever, to be able to reach out to like minds, or those a little further on the path, even, or just on a different path, that know exactly what you're going through at that moment. So that's always nice to have. So
yes, it is. It is.
Absolutely.
And it's great to have a channel like yours too, where you feel you can come, and a person that comes from their heart center.
No, thank you.
You're the one that you can watch for the signs from the guides, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I do it like how you said. I like that, the heart center. Because that, I guess for me, I don't know how it was for you, but for me, it definitely was that. I didn't really have a lot of people to turn to early on in my walk, so that was lonely path and a scary path when you don't really have anybody to turn to. So,
yeah.
So, that's definitely what I wanted to, or have people comfortable with that, right? Like, so like, yeah. So thank you for saying that. Absolutely. Thank you. So I guess on that note, we'll end it there. Again, thank you, Brett. It's an honor as always.
Thank you.
And we'll talk again soon.
I'm so honored. Thank you, Omar, for having me on.
Absolutely.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One day pass away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I want to feel this way forever.